Welcome back to the Bruin Insider Show. I am Wayne Cook, and I am without Nick Cope right now for this interview because he is in the hospital with his newborn baby girl, Kit, and his wife. And we're just so excited for Nick Cope and their new addition to their family. I'm joined by Coach Tim Skipper, as always. And, Coach, you're nodding your head for Nick. That's
Oh
awesome
yeah.
news, right?
Oh, awesome. That's big time. Better place to be over there than right here with us.
It's so true. Coach, we'll start with this. Just kind of a big picture question, or just a life question. A couple of weeks ago, our last road game before Ohio State was Indiana, the number two ranked team in the country. Then you go on the road after a tough sandwich game with Nebraska, and you go on the road to play the number one team in the country in Ohio State. I don't know. I know I've never experienced anything like that in all the years, either as a player or a broadcaster. This was a pretty unique situation that you guys had to go through.
Oh, big time. It was unique from all kinds of facets, just from the physicality of the three games. Like it was some physical stuff. It's as close you're going to get to an NFL game as possible. So, just really proud of how our kids, our players, they attacked the moment, fought hard in all three games. They're playing the best of the best. So you get one and two with Nebraska sandwich, like you said. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So, just like the way we responded. Each game had different circumstances to it, but we came out with it, learning things and getting better, and hopefully it helps us this week.
Coach, more big picture stuff because if you look at Indiana and Ohio State and pretty much what they've been doing to everybody for the most part, I mean those two teams are playing at an elite level, but all the other Big Ten conference games that UCLA has been in this year, you win three, you win the second half against Northwestern. In the Nebraska game, it felt like we just needed another possession.
Hmm.
It really, I mean, I think sometimes when people look at from afar, they don't realize how close this team is to sitting there with five conference wins right now. And I know that's not how football works. You can't just say we
Yeah,
were almost there, but still, it's now going down this home stretch. It feels like the number one and two teams are out of the way. It doesn't mean these next two opponents aren't good because we all know they are, but
yeah,
it just feels like we're getting back into the. You got to remind these guys we can play with these teams. We can compete in these games.
absolutely. And we talked about that. In the two games we lost, excluding the other two. It was big how we start the game. That was a huge part of the reason why we didn't have that extra possession you were talking about. So we just need to start these games fast. Still play Bruin football, still control the time possession, still try to establish the run game, still try to stop the run. Like all the things we talk about, we're still going to continue to do. And if we start fast at the beginning, I think we'll be fine. It's going to be all about starting fast.
Coach, I always want to look at the positives, and you had a quarterback that had to play in this game, and from what I'm hearing, we didn't know that Nico was not going to play till so late in the week, and then you have a quarterback who, trust me, I love Luke. I've known him for a while now. He's a great young man. He works his butt off, but man, getting that, hey, you're going to be starting against Ohio State. I always laugh because sometimes when you're thrown in, coach, and you're on the sidelines and the guy goes down and you don't have time to think about it. He had time to think about this for a couple of
Yeah.
nights. And I was even joking around with my friends. I'm like, I wonder if Luke's going to sleep tonight in the hotel. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a pretty daunting feeling. And yet he showed up and did some really good things.
Oh, absolutely. He didn't totally know until Friday night. Like Friday is when he was like, "Okay, I am gonna start the game tomorrow." So, who knows how he slept? The only advice I gave him, the only thing I said to him is just throw it to our color jersey. That's all I said to him. So he did that. We didn't have any turnovers or anything like that. I think he was a little nervous at the beginning. We could tell it was hard for him to read his wristband a little bit sometimes. But as he settled into the game you really saw that he's got a very, very good future ahead of him. He has an arm; he can throw that thing. Things were coming at him fast, with the team we were playing. But I really, really like the way he settled in. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback.
I agree. And one of the things that helped was we didn't give up a sack. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I mean, and
Hmm.
again, these are things that like you look at this going forward, and it wasn't like we had our full complement. Even later in the game, a couple of our guys were down. They were limping around on the sidelines a little bit, and still no sacks. And part of that's getting the ball out quick, which I think we did pretty well. But we also had in the second half the most explosive, I'm pretty sure, pass play of the year. I know it was a slant, but I tell people this all the time. Slants, if they're thrown right, you go back and watch Jerry Rice film all day. He had a
Yeah.
lot of those where it ended up being big plays. And I used to throw to my guy, J.J. Stokes, and longest play in UCLA history of 95 yards was a slant against the University of Washington against an 8-man blitz. And he beat one guy and he was gone. So
Yep.
slants can be great plays, and he put it on the money, and it was explosive play.
On the money. When the throw is right, you can split the two defenders, and that's exactly what happened. Kept his momentum going, and he blew by them and made the big play happen.
Coach, defensively, I'm going to focus on more positives. We know Julian saying he was completing almost 81% of his passes going into this game.
Hmm.
I think he hit like 74 in the game, but he was not quite as sharp as he's been. And I will say this because, and I don't know if you thought the same thing, especially after watching film. He threw 3 or 4 passes where we could not have covered any freaking better. I mean, there was an inch. And this is just a compliment to how good he is and how good those receivers are too. Even though all their starters weren't always in, he threw some plays. But I have to give kudos to the defensive backs and the defense for covering so tight.
Definitely, definitely. And when they make those throws and catches, you're like, all right, I see why they're number one in the country right now. I mean, we were on them. I mean, really, really on them. We wanted to challenge the receivers. We wanted to stay in their hip pocket. We did that. I think our guys did a good job of disguising some things. So they didn't know when we were a man and when we were going to our cover twos and cover threes and things like that. So the kids really bought into the plan this week. Knows what happens if we make those plays? It's all on third downs. Like, who knows? We get on the punt and things like that. Maybe things change, but they made plays. Give them their credit. But I like the way our guys attack on the outside and the perimeter and all those deep passes and things. I think the longest throw was like, what, 17, 21 yards, somewhere around there. So we did a good job with that.
I mean, I'll take that same thing a step further. You play 2 of the top quarterbacks, Heisman Trophy candidates in the country, and I actually thought they both played Fernando Mendoza for Indiana, and
Yeah.
they both kind of played below what their numbers are on the season. And the receivers had a hard time getting open in both of those games. I mean, I just don't know. Sometimes when teams aren't winning enough games, players don't get the recognition they deserve. It
Hmm.
just feels like the way this team covers is special.
Definitely, definitely. I think the way we cover and the way we can get hands on guys and run, we have some real speed back there is a really good thing. And then I think with the staff, the way we've been able to disguise what we're in has been awesome. Even with the linebackers showing pressure and getting out of there, all those little things mess with the quarterback. We don't have the sack numbers that we want, but we want him to at least be back there patting the ball because he doesn't know what we're in.
All right, coach. So in the lab, when all the defensive coordinators are together and you're sitting there trying to figure it out, how the heck, and we did get a sack.
Yeah.
How do we get pressure? I know you guys are. I mean, we're going to bring a corner. We're going to bring a safety. We're going to do stunt. What are we going to do? I mean,
Yeah.
imagine you guys spend quite a bit of time trying to figure that out because it has been a weakness of the team this year, getting to that stinking quarterback.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it's a lot to it, right? Like, okay, are we just gonna rush four? We're gonna drop eight and bring just three. We're gonna overload and bring six or seven, depending on what their formation they're in. Like we go through round and round all those things. And when you drop more guys in coverage, you're hoping you'll get some coverage sacks out of it. But what's happened really is he's been patting, and then either throwing it away or throwing to a receiver. So we just have to keep working at it. We don't have just natural four guys that could just go get after it. So we're gonna be real creative in how we do things, but we are getting the quarterbacks to hold the ball, trying to figure out what we're in, and the passing yards hasn't really been killing us. So
Right.
I know the sack number's not where it is, but it's not a cry for help or anything like that right now. We're just gonna keep doing what we're doing.
And it was well. You told me this at halftime during the game. We're gonna keep trying to run the football, and I agree that that's something you have to do. You can't abandon that. It has been a little bit more of a struggle as of late to get the running backs opportunities to make positive plays. Part of that's who you're playing against. I mean, we all know that Ohio State's defense is like elite, elite, elite. But when I looked at the numbers as we start transitioning towards Washington, and I swear this is not at all an insult to them, but their numbers aren't anywhere near um, what we've seen against the Indianas so there may be some more opportunities. I imagine trying to get back to that balance against Washington is something that's going to be key.
Yeah, we'll always be that way. We're always going to try to find ways that we can run the rock. We've been playing defenses though. That box has been really, really loaded. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have that extra hat in there and he can tackle, it's hard to get it going. I mean, it's just what it is. And we're playing good defenses. These are good defenses that we're playing against. So we're going to continue to try to get formation and motions and shifts and things like that to help us establish it. But it all comes down to us keeping our hands on our blocks, moving people, and the ball carriers getting downhill and getting positive yards. So we're going to keep on working it, just keep on humping, and hopefully we'll spring one here and there as we keep going.
Tell you, Coach Anthony Frias, I don't know. It's hard not to notice this guy in these games, man. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He's just something about him, and I'm not acknowledging. I'm not acknowledging the other running backs because they all have their talents. But
Yep.
I've just enjoyed watching Frias so much, and I love his story.
Yeah, hardworking dude, right? I mean, how can you not love him? He's a dude that's ready for every single challenge. That's the number one thing I'll say about him. He don't care who it is, what it is. We practiced that night out there on Friday night, and he wanted to take his shirt off. I made him keep it on. Like he's one of those type of guys. I said, you're not waking up sick tomorrow and then getting mad at me for that, you know? So I made him keep his shirt on, and he's just that dude. There's no element, no anything that's going to keep him out of being him.
This is a total tangent here, and before I get back to Washington, I have never understood the shirt off thing. I get you're being tough, man, but I'm sorry. It's like miserably cold. Put your freaking shirt on. Like it doesn't make you tougher to walk around with your shirt off. I get it. It's a man sport, right? You got to be tough, but like you
Yeah.
got to be smart too.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess when you're young, showing off your muscles is more important.
Well, it's usually the lineman though. It's usually the guys
The
walking around with
belly.
the bellies. I'm like, come on, man, put your shirt back on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Coach, back to the good news about this week is they don't have a very talented quarterback. Wait a second. Damon Williams is actually really good. He can run. He can throw. I know you've seen him on film. He's an impressive
Yeah.
young man. They've got a running back that came over with Jed Fish from Washington and Coleman. But just talk a little bit about when you play a quarterback like Damon Williams and all he can do with his arm and with his legs. It's different. Julian saying, yeah, he's somewhat mobile. Yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he's somewhat mobile. We played we've done this before, but
Yeah.
he's really good at both.
Yeah, he's very, very, very dynamic. Like very dynamic. His speed is crazy. Really strong arm. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. Like he has complete command of the offense. Like he's a master of their offense. So, like we were talking earlier about the pass rush, we're gonna have to be very creative this week. It's gonna have to give him multiple different looks and make him try to figure us out rather than just being comfortable and doing what he wants to do. So we're gonna throw a lot at him. See if we can confuse him a little bit. But he's keeping us up at night. Like he legitimately is keeping us up to where we're gonna have to keep on thinking, are we good? Are we okay? Da, 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 da. What if he does this? What if he does that? You know, that's the conversation all the way until this game ends. So he's a very, very good player. He's surrounded by a lot of good players with a lot of speed. Okay, it's one of the fastest teams we play, like just pure speed. They have track guy speed on their team. So we're gonna have our hands full. We'll have a good plan and we'll go play.
It's kind of funny, Coach, because whenever I talk about quarterback play, I always think about like if you have a guy that's a runner who can kind of throw, or if you have a thrower who can kind of run, like it takes a little pressure off. But when you play against a guy that can really throw it and really run it, you're like, like I
Yeah.
mean, you already said it, sleepless nights. How's the team holding up, Coach? Like, if how healthy are we? I know everybody's banged up this time of year. It didn't look like the offensive linemen that were hurt was like season-ending type stuff. They were just limping around. I'm not sure if you even want to share any of that stuff, but how are we looking health-wise? And also, me, mentally. I mean, I know you lose that, hey, bowl eligibility ability is not there.
Mm.
but you've got two of your oldest rivals. I've said this from the beginning. The teams that left for the Big Ten, UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, are pretty much the four best programs historically coming
Hmm.
out of that conference. We know these teams. Like, we've watched these games a million times. Do they feel that? I mean, I know with the transfer portal and everything else, I'm just wondering if the players are like to me, playing Washington and USC, you're like, I mean, come on, let's go,
Yeah.
because you watched it your whole life. I'm just curious where they're at, mentally going into these last couple games.
Yeah, well, health wise, we're banged up, but like you said, everybody's banged up. I don't think we have any of the real serious stuff yet, but we'll meet later on today and see what's happening. There's always at this time of the year, there's always something that surprises you, and you get nervous when a guy's just limping. To be honest with you, when he's just limping, you think, oh, it's okay, but when you get to game 10, 11, 12 towards the end, the body reacts and feels different, you know? So I always take them all pretty seriously, and I just wait to hear from the doctors and trainers and stuff, and then we move on from there with that. As far as the morale of the team, I get asked that a lot. And our team, I'm telling you, when we were in the locker room after the game, I could look in their eyes and tell they wanted to still play ball. That's the main thing. You know, we talked in our team meeting Sunday, we talked about during times of adversity, that's when you're measured the most. So everybody wants to see how we're going to respond. It is out there in full display. Come Saturday, we have to be ready to show that we're here to fight and we know how to strain and we want to win ball games. So the morale has been really, really good. They know Washington Huskies are coming to town. They know they're a good football program right now, and they know all the history of it too. So we're in the Rose Bowl. Let's get it on. Two good historically traditional football programs, and let's have a good old game.
Coach, I can't let you go without asking you about the quarterback, and you can say game time decision if you would like. But I got to ask you about Nico and how he's doing and how he's progressing, and if we maybe or maybe not going to get to see him this week.
Yeah, he is the definition of day to day. Um, I'm hoping that we get Tuesday practice, he's ready to roll. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping. Is that happens, then we'll get to Wednesday and hope that it happens on Wednesday. But right now, I'm hoping we can get him on Tuesday practice and ready to go.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you as always for stopping by, and we'll be right back on the Bruin Insider Show.